Hello, this is Kevin with the Compulsive Investor channel. In this video, I'll be showing you one of the tools that I use for managing my rental properties. It's called Quicken Classic Business and Personal. You can use Quicken to manage all of your rental property finances. Today, I'm going to give you an overview of how to use Quicken for your rental properties. We'll walk through the main tabs under the rental property section, the rent center, profit and loss, cash flow, and the account overview. And I'll give you examples on how to use each one. I'll also be making future videos that go deeper into each of these tabs, and additional videos on setting up your first rental property, entering rent and expenses, and configuring tags. This video will be a high-level overview just to get you familiar with the tools. When you first click on the rental property tab in Quicken, it automatically opens to the rent center. You'll notice two drop-down menus. The first one lets you choose whether you want to view all your properties together or focus on just one at a time. The second drop down is for your date range. So it may default to current year, but you can switch it to month or weekly or whatever amount of whatever time frame you want to analyze. Below this, you'll see a summary box that has details in it like vacancies. For example, we've got a couple vacancies right now. We have a couple properties that are being rehabbed. So Quicken helps me keep track of all these situations right here. Now, if I select one of the rows in the rent center, I can also enter a rent payment directly. This is nice or handy if a tenant hands you cash or a check or pays in some other way and you just want to enter it quickly without having to open up anything else. Now, if I click on one of these properties, it'll open up the rental property or the edit rental property window. Here's where you can enter details about the property. Notice I usually abbreviate my properties just because of making videos. I want to keep my anonymity, so I just put abbreviations in here. But you can type the full name of the property if you want. Of course, you can put your address in here as well. And you can also choose whether it's a single unit or a multi-unit property. Down here, you can track the value of your property. That's really nice and helpful if you're planning on refinancing. And if it's a multi-unit property, you'll see an area over here where you can set up each unit individually. And this makes it easier to track tenants and rent payments separately within that multi-unit property. Under the Property Documents tab, you can attach documents like your lease, maybe your property deed or tax information, other important documents you can attach. Finally, if we scroll down to the bottom under the totals area, you'll notice a series of icons. These represent things like vacant units, rent due, rent overdue, late payments, and lease end dates. You may see these icons pop up depending on the status of your properties, so it's helpful to know what they mean at a glance. I'll be making another video in the future where I'll dive deeper into all the different features of the rent center and show you even more details about how it works. Next is the Profit and Loss tab. Here, Quicken organizes your income and expenses into a report that looks very similar to what an accountant would use. This helps you see how much profit your rental business is actually making, not just the rent coming in, but also the expenses going out, like your repairs, mortgage interest, your insurance, and other costs. For example, let's take a look at the month of July. Here's a quick snapshot. Total income was $8,295. Total expenses were $6,495, which leaves a profit of $1,800. This makes it easy to understand where your money is coming from and going. And it's especially helpful when planning for future budgets or preparing for taxes. The Profit and Loss tab also allows you to filter by property tag so that you can see detailed reports for a single property or a group of property at a glance. This gives you flexibility in analyzing your rental business and helps you to identify trends or areas that need attention. Here's a quick tip. When I'm working on my Quicken file or I'm generating reports for my business, I store all of this data on my SanDisk SSD. This keeps everything organized, secure, and easy to access. I've linked it in the description if you want to check it out. I'll also be making another video in the future where I'll dive deeper into the profit and loss, showing you more tips and tricks on how to fully leverage this tab for your rental business. Next is the cash flow. This tab shows you the movement of money in and out of your rental accounts over a specific period. This helps you to see whether you have enough funds or whether you will have enough funds to cover upcoming expenses. For example, let's take a look here at July. Here's a quick snapshot. Total inflow was $164,995. Total outflow was $155,053, which leaves $18,692 remaining. I thought these numbers were kind of high at first until I looked at my cash flow. And that's because we sold a property in order to pay off some debt. And this is a good example of how cash flow can fluctuate depending on one-time transactions or big events, and why it's so important to track it closely. The cash flow tab also allows you to filter by property or account, giving you a clear picture of your rental business's liquidity at any given time. I'll be making another video also in the future where I'll go into more detail on cash flow, showing tips for maintaining inflows, outflows, and planning ahead for your rental business. Finally, let's take a look at the account overview. This section gives you a snapshot of all of your rental property accounts in one place. It's a great way to see your overall financial position at a glance. The first section lists your rental property spending and savings accounts, where you track money coming in and out for day-to-day operations. Right below that, you'll see your credit card accounts for the rental business. Next, we have the rental property and debt accounts. This includes the equity in your units, as well as any escrow accounts that you've got set up for those properties. This gives you a clear picture of the value that you have tied up in your rental properties. Below that, you'll see the rental property liabilities. These are loans against the properties, as well as security deposits or last month's rent that you're holding for the tenants, because technically these are liabilities until they're either returned or applied. Finally, the rental property credit section is listed again here. I'm not sure why Quicken shows it twice, but it's worth noting that it appears so that you can see the credit balances related to your rentals. Again, there's a lot of information on this page, so I'm going to do an extended video covering account overview in more detail at a later date. Over on the far right of the rental property tab, you'll see 3 drop-down menus. Let's briefly go through them. The first drop-down allows you to enter rents and expenses. This is another way to quickly log incoming rent payments or any expenses related to your rental properties. The second drop-down lets you add new properties and tenants, which is perfect when you're expanding your rental business or bringing in a new tenant. The third drop-down gives you access to all kinds of reports related to your rental property business. This includes detailed financial reports, tax-related summaries, and other analytics that can help you manage and grow your rentals. These drop-downs provide quick access to some of the most commonly used features in Quicken's rental property tools, making it easier to manage your rental business efficiently. Again, this will be just an overview. I'll do a more in-depth video on each of these options in the future. If you'd like to start using Quicken to manage your rentals the way I do, I've included my affiliate link in the description. It gives you access to discounts on Quicken, and it also helps support this channel at no extra cost to you. In this video, I just wanted to give you the big picture overview of the rental property tab. In upcoming videos, I'll be showing you how to set up your very first rental property in Quicken, how to use tags to organize your income and expenses, how to record rent payments, and also I'll do deep dives into each of the tabs that we just looked at. So if you want to learn step by step how to use Quicken to manage your rentals, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. And that's it for this overview of the rental property tab in Quicken. Hopefully this gives you a good starting point and a clear picture of what's possible. If you found this helpful, please give it a like and support the channel by subscribing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next Compulsive Investor video.